I have a load of old video footage that I thought I might as well share with you guys of using the chainsaw mill. So here it is, we're milling up this big sycamore log. This is the first cut. It's all going to be a quick video. If you're interested in the chainsaw mill itself, there's loads of details of how I made that. I'll put a link in the description of the video down below. Proof we're rocketing, that's the first cut done, but let's start at the beginning. This is the workshop roof. It's pretty much permanently covered in debris from a big sycamore tree that overhangs it. Believe it or not, this whole panel is actually a big skylight that should let lots of light through and make a nice cheery space. But instead, it's always blocked by the tree detritus. And I get a bit nervous when it's really windy and branches are falling down onto the roof. Anyway, long story, or not that long story short, it needs to come down. Trouble is, it's so close to the workshop, it's going to be quite tricky, and I need to avoid. I didn't crush the workshop, or I probably wouldn't be putting this video out. It's fair to say it was incredibly time consuming, ridiculously dangerous, but I did manage to avoid crushing the woodshed or the workshop. When you take into account all the factors, the size of the tree, the prevailing wind conditions, the lean, how close it was, it's basically a miracle anything survived. I can't overstate how important it is to put safety first in these situations. It's always worth factoring in that someone's going to want to monkey around a fair bit on the day, and usually that someone is me. Although it took way longer than expected, it did come down without destroying the world. Possibly surgical is what I would call it. Anyway, back to the video. Okay, so we're on to the second cut. Place the ladder. The big MS-880 is ripping away at it. This is obviously greatly sped up. It took me about all day to do that log that I'm cutting now and the big crotch log that it's resting on. Let's have a change of view then, why not? It's pretty convenient having the workshop right there beside the log. I can pop in now and get all kinds of tools that I need. Now you might be wondering, why bother putting the ladder on when you've already established a straight face that you can use as a reference for the next cut? And the answer is the beginning. It makes it so much safer to be able to rest the whole of the Alaskan mill on the ladder, and it just makes it loads easier as well. There's no chance of the cut going wonky at the beginning, so for all those reasons. Although having said that, I must admit that I don't always religiously do it. You can see the sawdust going into the blue tarp I've set up there. As it's right by the workshop, it's kind of luxury, and I'm trying to collect all the sawdust so I don't just create a big pile of rotting sawdust right outside the workshop. And if it's collected up, it can be used for either making briquettes for the stove, or it can be rotted down and used as mulch, weed suppressing. So as I said, this was a big sycamore tree. It leaves some pretty nice boards. The moisture content is reasonably high even at this time of year. Well, when I cut it, which was sort of very early spring, to the end of winter, so as dry as it was going to be. It's quite soft for a hardwood. It cuts really easily, it works really well. So it's certainly worth getting boards like this. The only downside to sycamore is that it's not at all durable, so if you leave it outside, it'll rot quite quickly. Now, I didn't film the bottom log cutting of it, so we're coming to the end of the footage now. Here's a photo, and check this out. It's some kind of old fencing nail that we obviously sawed through with some kind of plastic shroud around it, really black. So there's another part of it. I'm guessing that's the insulator. It might have been a bit of an electric fence. So I'm pretty happy with how the boards turned out. They're pretty characterful, and they're now stacked and have been drying for about 7 months. So soon to make something with. Anyway, any questions, just ask, and as always, thanks for watching.